The Franklin and Marshall Diplomats are your 2017 Centennial Conference champions, and to add to the good news, we still have one more game left to play. Hello and welcome in. I'm Jack Heffer, alongside the Centennial Conference Coach of the Year, John Troxell. Congratulations on the honor, and congratulations on the championship. 9-1 in the regular season. You've got to be happy and very proud of the guys with where they ended up.
I am. I mean, it was just, an unbelievable team effort. You talk about team, and you look at all the guys that got recognized and honored, as all-conference performers. But it even goes beyond them. I mean, it takes a village to do something like this. 9 wins in a season has only been done, I think, 8 times in the history of the college in 130 years. We have a chance to win 10 games for only the second time in the history of the college. When you look at our team, we had to stay healthy. We talked about that all along, and we stayed relatively healthy through the year. And, I'm really proud of the kids. I'm proud of our staff. I mean, you look at what our defensive staff has done to shut teams down. You look at what Coach Ballman and the offensive staff have done. You take special teams. Like I said, I can't say enough about just the entire group, how much fun it's been. And like you said, we still get to do it one more time.
Well, the defense and the offense certainly clicked last Saturday. The game-clinching win over Gettysburg. You guys were up 31-0 at halftime, ultimately winning that game 51-21. Huge days from Tanner Ayersman, Dylan Aldifer, and KJ Pretty, over 100 yards receiving, and of course Talib Gerald, who was named Centennial Conference Offensive Player of the Week. 3 total touchdowns. It was a career day for him and for your team.
Yeah, it was. It was a career day. I mean, you look at what those guys did. Again, you're proud as a coach, but again, there's a reason why we win. We have some really talented football players, and looking forward into the future, a bunch of them are back, and when you look into this week, there's still records that can be broken. So, I think our kids, again, they've just played with a lot of fire and a lot of excitement. And what can you say about the 2 receivers? I mean, both of them had 100-yard days. Tanner managing the game, and then Talib, player of the week. Really excited for him. 35 carries one week, 32 carries another week. He's just really, down the stretch, really put us on his back and said, we're going to do this.
Yeah, he has been the workhorse all season long, and he has an opportunity on Saturday to get the all-time total touchdown record at Franklin and Marshall. He broke the rushing touchdown record this Saturday. He now has 30, and he's got 35 total touchdowns. So we'll look forward to Gerald and see if he can break that record. You mentioned a little bit earlier the all-conference team for Franklin and Marshall in the Centennial Conference. 15 members selected from your roster. That's pretty impressive. 8 on the first team, and you always talk about how this is a team game. It just seemed like everybody got to recognize with the all-conference team this year.
Well, again, when you talk about all-conference, it's usually a reflection of how the team did. 15 guys is the most ever in the history of the school. It's nice that the coaches around the conference recognized our guys, because, again, it's not our staff. If it was our staff, we'd pick all 22, but it's a heck of an honor for our program. It's indicative of how far we've come. Again, winning a Centennial Championship hasn't happened since '04. It's been done 13 other times in the history of the college in 130 years. And, hopefully this is a stepping stone into what the future will hold for Franklin and Marshall football.
There are the big names on that all-conference team. Of course, Joe Granahan was Defensive Player of the Year. Vin Speranza, he was a unanimous pick to the first team, one of 3 guys along with Granahan. Of course, Tanner Ayersman, KJ Pretty on there as well. But I want to talk about 2 guys, offensive linemen, Brian Denokor and A.J. Gasser. Denokor was a first-team pick. Gasser was a second-team pick. We haven't talked about the offensive line much, but boy, were they efficient this year in protecting Tanner Ayersman and allowing Talib Gerald to do what he does best. What can you say about that group of 5 guys coming into the season and at this point now?
Yeah, all 5 guys have produced for us. You don't rush the ball as well as we have without all 5 guys, and obviously we don't throw it as well without those guys. And again, I think even in the beginning of the season we talked about you win championships in the trenches. You talk about both offensive and defensive lines that push each other every day in practice. Those guys are just incredible kids. We were very fortunate as well because all 5 of them played every game together, so we didn't have injuries, and we talked about staying healthy again. But, I'm really proud of that group. They're a great group of kids. I think they bonded well, and obviously they produced for us.
We mentioned, Coach, one more game this season, Centennial Conference MAC Bowl game, and you guys get to host it at Shattuck Stadium. You guys play a tough team, Widener. They were 3rd in the MAC conference, and the cool thing about it, this used to be a huge rivalry when Franklin and Marshall was in the MAC. They haven't played each other since 1982, but it's going to be a tough game come Saturday. Widener, obviously, very talented. They have the MAC Defensive Player of the Year in Jordan Powell, who has 5 pick-sixes on the season. What can you tell me about Widener in this matchup coming up Saturday?
Well, I mean, they're a really good football team. I mean, which makes it exciting for us. I mean, that's what you want to get to the postseason and play another good team and test your abilities. Again, you mentioned we get to play one more home game, which is really exciting. We're going to have to play well. I mean, we're going to have to do all the things we did all year, not turn it over, tackle well, block well. And, you talk about rivalries. Yeah, I mean, this is an old rivalry. Our alums can resonate with playing Widener. Billy White Shoes Johnson coming to Lancaster. There's some big wins against this football team in the old days. And, we're going to look to capitalize on that and hopefully give our old alums who know that rivalry something to celebrate.
Well, Coach, it's been a heck of a season so far. Centennial Conference Championship, the first time under your head coaching reign, and, of course, Coach of the Year for you. It speaks volumes about what you've done with this team so far. So congratulations to you, and best of luck this Saturday in the MAC Conference Bowl game.
Greatly appreciated.